Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. How is everyone doing this fine Tuesday day? I know what you're thinking. Where has she been? I have been busy, been booked and busy, as you know how it is. I haven't been that busy. Life has kind of calmed down, but Halloween came. I went to Edmonton to see one of my best friend. Went to go visit her. She just bought a place. Working on my nonprofit, helping out a local business here with media, and also my regular full-time job. So life has been crazy for me. It's been great. I've been really enjoying myself. I'm one of those people who needs to be completely busy. As you see, my hair is a little different. I got this little kind of blonde underneath type of, Rogue from X-Men type of vibe going. These earrings, I'll show you who they are from. If you guys can see that. It's a local artist here in Hinton. She does amazing stuff. She is also who I've been helping with marketing. So if you have a chance, please go check her out. I'll also be linking her Instagram down below. Her business that she just opened up is called Moss and Sparrow. It's very cool. Lots of renewable, reusable things. She has a fill station for body wash, conditioner, stuff like that. Super cool. Very environmentally friendly. Love it. But yeah, so I got my hair done and a new tattoo. Ava from Please Hold Me in Edmonton did this. She's also done my butterfly, if you've seen that. I also have a bee on my knee for bee's knees, obviously. And she did that. So that's what I've been up to. That is my life. That is what I've been doing. I've just been busy, but I'm happy. I'm so excited to get back here to talk to you guys about a true crime that has happened here in Canada. So for you people who do not know me, my name is Jordan McLean, and I am here every Tuesday and Thursday sometimes to tell you a true crime that has happened here in Canada. I only do true crime in Canada. I am from Canada, and I just think it's cool. A lot of people don't really know all the true crimes that have happened, or any type of crime that's really happened. You hear the really big ones like Picton, why can't I think of their names? You got Picton, Kalahamoka, we got the dude from I Don't F With Cats, stuff like that. But there's a bunch of other people out there who are crazy, who have done horrible crimes. I don't only just talk about true crimes in the sense of murder and stuff like that. I talk about missing people. I've also talked about laws that Canada had implemented many years ago that have been horrible. So it's just whatever I feel like today. So let us get into it. Today we have a good one. Today we have a different type of true crime that's happened in Canada, because he didn't actually do his crimes in Canada, but he was Canadian born. So this is super cool. So today we're going to be talking about Keith Hunter Jesper, oh my god, Jesperson. So let's get into it. We'll be calling him Keith. So let's get into this story. Today is a really good story. I'm really excited to talk about it. Got the burpees all of a sudden. I am going to be trying to do more of showing the products I'm using on camera, so I don't have to link them down below, because I struggle with that. I really do. So today we are going to start off with my primer on my nose, and I will be using the e.l.f. Poreless Putty primer. Everyone knows it, loves it. They're great. And then I'm going to be going in with the Honeydew Makeup. So this one is supposed to be like a dupe for the milk, whatever Michaela says on TikTok type of thing. Oh, did anyone see that? It's like dripping off my face. It's alright. I don't think it's a dupe, but I like cheap stuff. So Keith was born on April 6, 1955 in Chilliwack, British Columbia, which is over there. I'm here, over there. BC is right beside where I'm from, Alberta. So that's where he was born, Chilliwack. He was the middle child to 2 brothers and 2 sisters. The father was an alcoholic, and apparently the grandfather was very abusive. His father denied these claims when he was growing up, and when these crimes happened, he denied all these abusive claims. He said he wasn't an alcoholic, he never abused him. However, while an investigation happened, because a gentleman was writing a book about him, they said that a lot of family members did say that these claims were accurate. Call him Keith. I forgot my little mirror. What's new? Me forgetting things. So Keith was treated like an outcast by his family and was teased by other kids. He was a very stocky guy, large in size, so this is one of the reasons why he was bullied at his age. And let me tell you guys, I am almost 6 feet and a woman. And I was almost 6 feet and a woman when I was in high school. I was like 5'9", 5'10" in grade 7. People called me Bigfoot. I understand. I get it. Kids are mean. And that's all it was. And some people can take it and some people can't. But just kids are dicks. That's all it is. So again, he was very lonely, and he showed signs of a typical serial killer at a young age. He really enjoyed torturing and killing small animals. It was kind of one of his, pastimes. He really enjoyed it. And if you know on this channel or any other type of true crime, killing animals, small animals right off the jump is a very good sign that that kid is not okay. And you should probably get him some help. So after moving to Washington, United States, he had troubles fitting in, going to a new school. He couldn't really make friends, really struggling about this. And because of his large size, again, moving to a new school, and kids are dicks, they made fun of him. His brothers didn't help. They called him Igor, and the name just stuck. That was his nickname throughout and the school years, and everyone was just like, he's Igor. So Keith never had it easy, and like I said, everybody loves kids, but the bullies. My tan on my hands, please ignore. It is not great, and I am too lazy to fix it. Could have washed it or try to add more, but I decided not to. It is what it is. So his brothers didn't help. Everyone called him Igor. And because Keith was a shy kid, it didn't really help him. He couldn't really connect with the other kids. He played by himself most of the time. He would often get into trouble for behaving badly, sometimes violently, like when he would, kill animals, and would be severely punished by his dad. His dad would sometimes beat him with a belt if he had it laying around, or even at one point, in one case, he received electrical shock. So his dad was like, whatever, we're just going to beat this kid. So that's what he did. Again, very sad for the kid, no kid deserves to be punished that type of way, even if it is a family member doing it, or a dad or something like that. No kid deserves to be punished, especially one who's acting out because he doesn't know what it's like to actually be loved or to have people in his life. He's acting out for a reason, and if you're an alcoholic or anything like that, you tend to not really see that, and you just think the kid's weird and different, so you're like, I'm just gonna beat him. Hopefully that gets it out of him. At an early age, as young as 5, Keith would capture and torture animals. He loved watching animals kill each other. Weird. And then he also loved the feeling he got for taking their lives, which is a serial killer if you ask me. If I have a kid, this is one of my biggest fears about having kids. What if they're serial killers? Like, what if they enjoy killing animals? I would be like, gotta put them away, we gotta lock them up. I ain't gonna, or I could do what Dexter's dad did and was like, looks like we're killing people who deserve to die, So, we'll see what happens if that ever happens. I'll let you guys know. So he enjoyed watching the life go out of the little animal's eyes. It was something that got a thrill. He continued. As he got older, Keith would capture birds, stray cats, and dogs around the trailer park where he lived with his family, severely beat the animals, and then strangle them to death. Something from which he claims his father was proud of him. He said this is the only time his father ever was like, good job, son. You're doing great, is when you would kill stray animals. Again, his father was like, I don't remember that. But he was also an alcoholic. In the years following, Keith said he often thought about what it would be like to take a human's life. Foundation I use is the NARS. This one is very beat up. I also use this one on my wedding day. I tanned a little bit, so I did a light too. As you know, me being tanned means that my skin's just the normal color of everyone else's skin. I'm not as white as I used to be. Ooh, made it go crazy. So he really desired to take somebody's life. He really wanted to see what that felt like, what it would be like to take somebody's life in his hands. And that desire manifested into 2 attempted murders at a very young age. The first happened when Keith was around 10, so very young. Now I'm dipping into my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer with poor, very white as you can get concealer out there. I also beforehand laid a little bit of NYX paint or whatever, it's kind of like the Paint Pop or whatever it's called, Soft Matte Complete Concealer on just like my troubled areas. I have acne. I know, I'm 27 and I still get acne. Just living that best life of not being able to figure out my hormones and stuff. I laid that and then some foundation just because I find it really covers. Then if you know, you know. If you don't, you're lucky. All right. So he was like, I'm gonna kill people. So at age 10 years old, this guy's like, let's try to murder someone. When he and his friends he was friends with this boy named Martin. I really like the name Martin, but I can't pronounce it. He's friends with this kid named Martin. The two would often get into trouble together, and Keith claimed he was often punished many times for the things Martin had done, and he shifted the blame. So him and Martin would go out, get into trouble, and then Martin would blame everything on Keith and say it was Keith's fault, and he was like, he made me do it, I'm a good kid. And Keith would get in trouble, beat by his dad, so he's like, I gotta get rid of Martin, right? So, I just gotta get around my nose. This led to Keith to violently attack Martin until his father pulled him away. He later claimed his intentions was to kill the boy. Approximately 1 year later, Keith was swimming in a lake with another boy, held him underwater until he blacked out. Sometimes later at the public pool, Keith attempted to drown the boy by holding his head underwater until a lifeguard pulled him away. So, I don't know. You got this kid who's obviously troubled. He's not doing good at all. He's trying to kill people, which is number 1, you don't really want that. And number 2, I don't know where my brush is. My brush, my old dusty brush. I'm feeling myself today. I'm just going to say that real quick. Laying down the foundation, laying down the makeup, laying down the concealer. Enjoying my face. I'm just enjoying my face. That's all I'm going to say. First time for everything, right? All right. So after he tried to drown this kid, at age 14, it was reported that he tried to rape a little girl, tried to sexually assault her, and, you know, it was just, he was troubled, whatever. Parents obviously didn't care. They had 4 other kids. They're like, let this one go. He might be troubled, but who isn't, right? That's what the parents were pretty much saying. So he graduated high school, which is great. A lot of, I find, like the recent serial killers and stuff, or the people we've talked about, like the last one, the Anthill Colony, didn't graduate. It was just like, but he was very smart, didn't graduate, and just kind of go off and then really struggle with no support. So he graduated in 1973, but did not attend college because his father did not believe he could do it. So that's sad that, you know, he probably could have and probably would have really excelled because he's away from his family. He could go do something he actually liked, and he might have actually, you know, turned into a decent human being. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case because his dad was like, you're too dumb. You're not smart enough. So what did he do? He decided to become a serial killer. Because why not? Why wouldn't you want to do that? You'd rather be a serial killer than actually go to college and make something for your life. So he didn't go to college. Dad was like, sorry, son. Although Keith was not successful with goals, obviously, in high school, or even finding a girlfriend as he, you know, tried to sexually assault them, having never even attended a school dance or his prom, he did enter into a relationship after high school in 1975. Get some blush on my skin. 1975, when Keith was age 20, he married Rose. And the couple had 3 children, 2 daughters and 1 son. Keith worked as a truck driver to support his family. So you know what? He's doing something. You can't always get mad at people for not doing stuff when, you know, the dad, guaranteed, he could have been a great family guy. He could have been a billionaire. The dad would have found something wrong with him. So that's just how that kind of relationship goes. He seemed to be the outcast kid. He seemed to be the one that doesn't matter what he did, his dad probably would have never appreciated him. So there was really nothing that he could have done to really get his dad's approval. And I think that might have been kind of like the downfall of the family. I saw this on TikTok, so now I'm going to try it. It's supposed to be like the perfect nose contour. Don't know. Alright. So, several years later, Rose began to suspect Keith as having an affair with a strange woman. Because this strange woman always called the house, and she was like, I ain't that dumb. You're having an affair, Keith? And he's like, no. And she's like, yeah, see ya. I'm packing my shit and I'm leaving. So that's what happened. Tension in the marriage increased. And after 14 years, while Keith was on the road, Rose packed up her stuff and her kids' belongings and drove 200 miles away to live with her parents in Spokane, Washington. The oldest child, Melissa, was 10 at the time. Keith continued to spend time with his children when he was in town, but then the couple did divorce, which is like, good for her, you know? Dodged a bullet, if I could say so myself. She probably didn't even realize at that time that, or maybe he was probably killing and doing stuff, but she was like, this guy is crazy. But, you know, there's tons of families out there, or there's tons of women out there who are in relationship with men, and they don't even suspect. Ugh. I can't even pronounce. I'm not even going to try to say that word. I was just attempting to say suspect. Suspect was the word. They don't even suspect that their husband is a serial killer or doing some sort of crime. There's women out there who know and don't care. Some women, like, you know, like you have the big mafia drug lord bosses. They don't care because they're getting money. So they're like, do whatever you want. I don't care how you get the money as long as you let me buy some Gucci. And then you got the women who are just housewives, and next thing you know, cops roll up. John Wayne Gacy's your husband, and there's a freaking cellar downstairs full of dead bodies. You know? Sometimes they just don't know. She lucked out, though. So now he's living his best life. He's single. He's doing his thing. I always forget to bring out my eye Vaseline primer. I always say, like, this is, like, the worst eye primer because it just feels like Vaseline, but I keep on using it. So let's just plop that bad boy on. So at age 35, divorced, single, estranged, chilling by himself in his new loner bachelor pad at 35, standing at 6'7", weighing 240 pounds, which I think is light. I could be wrong, but I think that's light at 6'7". Keith began working at a new goal and saying, I'm gonna become an RCMP, Royal Mounted Canadian Police Force. It's Royal Canadian Mounted Police Force. I said it completely wrong. And was like, but an injury suffered while training ended that real quick. He's like, they're like, sorry buddy, you tried, but didn't succeed. So I'm just gonna go for super casual, nothing crazy. It's Christmas, you know, I'm going to a Christmas party. I just want to look good. I don't wear makeup all the time. Make me look pretty. Type of glam look is what I'm going for, if anyone wants to know. I'm using the Huda Beauty, blush essence, bronzer essence, eyebrow essence, highlighter Jeffree Star. I know we're not supposed to use Jeffree Star, but I used it. So yeah, they said, sorry buddy, you injured yourself. You can jog off, mate. We are going to work on getting actually some reliable, non-crazy RCMP officers. He then sought work again as a truck driver. So I'm sorry, this was before, going back in time, this was before his leaving. So he became a truck driver and relocated to Washington, Keith soon realized that this job offered him the opportunity to kill without being a suspect, which usually a truck driver is kind of like the ideal situation if you're a serial killer, because you're always traveling, you're always moving, and everyone does think a truck driver is probably the easiest person to be a serial killer, but they never get busted because they're just moving all through the town. No one cares. His first known victim was Kajan Bennett on the 23rd of January 1990. I couldn't say her name, but I'll just call her Bennett. Near Peltlen, Oregon, United States. He introduced himself to Bennett at the bar and invited her to his house he was renting. After getting in an argument with Bennett, he strangled her to death with a rope and disposed of her body. So he's like one and done, and he enjoyed it. He was like, that was fun. Might as well keep this going. 2.5 years later, so he did take a break, which is rare. Usually first blood, they're like salivating on the mouth and they're like, let's do more. I'm gonna use this little, I think I might use most of this little palette. It's kind of cute, little orange moment, and I find like the orangey browns, orangey nudes really bring out my eyes, and I like that. So 2.5 years later, on the 30th of August 1992, the currently unidentified body of the woman Keith had raped and strangled was found near California, United States. So he killed her in Peltlen, dumped her in California. So that's kind of a distance, and he just brought that body with him for a little road trip too, right? He's like, might as well take her for a ride. So dumped her in California, United States. Keith gives the Jane Doe name, Claudia is what he called her. A woman later, in Tulloch, California, the body of Cynthia Rose was discovered. Keith claims Rose was a sex worker who entered his truck at a truck stop while he slept. His fourth victim was another sex worker, which is really sad. They're always the ones who always get murdered, who no one seems to care about, because people think like, oh, sex workers, they don't care about themselves, so why should we? When, you know, they're also just out here trying to make ends meet, trying to support for a family. They might have an addiction, and just because somebody has a occupation that you don't agree with doesn't mean that they're any less of a human being than you are. They're just willing to do more to make ends meet and to put food on the table for their family. Some people aren't born lucky where they can just do whatever they want. Some people are born into poverty and they try to get out, but there's always struggles with addiction when it comes to that. So don't judge sex workers and don't kill sex workers. They're just trying to live their best life. So the other was a sex worker, Lauren Ann Peltlen, of Oregon, whose body was found in November 1992. According to Keith, Peltlen attempted to double the fee she charged for having sex with him, and this upset him. You know, he's like, sorry, you said only $35, not $40, so time to kill you. So he killed her. She threatened to call the police, and he strangled her. So he was like, sorry, buddy, I'm just gonna have to kill you. He probably would have killed her even if she didn't double the price. He would have killed her anyways, because that's just his thing. He just really enjoyed murdering people. And more than 6 months before Keith claimed his next victim in June 1993, when he murdered another unidentified woman, he claimed named Cindy in California. Police originally considered her death a drug overdose. More than a year later, in September of 1994, another Jane Doe was found in Florida. Keith claims that her name was Susan. So still, to this day, they were unidentified Jane Does. They weren't considered missing because, you know, the families never really considered them missing or were reported missing, just due to the fact that you know, addiction, sex trade, and stuff like that. And with him moving, like California, Oregon, Florida, he's making distance, right? No one's gonna oh my god, no one's gonna think he's the one. I can't say that word today. No one's gonna think that he is the killer, that he's somebody that they need to be looking for just because, you know, he's a truck driver. And again, that's why they get away with so much stuff, truck drivers who are murderers. Like, we have the Highway of Tears here, and everyone says the guy who's murdering the women on the Highway of Tears, or the people who are getting murdered on the Highway of Tears, there could be multiple guys. The reason why they get away with it is because they're truck drivers. Because they're never in the same spot. They don't just chill in one area, you know? They're not like, I'm just going to hang out here and kill the same person over and over again. I'm gonna dip, go somewhere else, come back, go somewhere else, and come back. So Keith then was arrested on March. Let's see if I like that color. Which one should I go with? There's two different sparkles, so should I just use my finger? That's what we're gonna figure out here. So Keith was arrested on March 30th, 1995 for the murder of Julia Winogram. He has been questioned by the police a week before, but they had no grounds to arrest him after he refused to talk. So he was like, I need a lawyer or I am out of here. And they're like, oh, okay, well, we don't have enough to really hold him, so you can go. So it's kind of, you know, how the cops usually do things nowadays. So they had nothing to really hold him, no grounds to arrest him, and he refused to talk. So they were like, see ya, you can leave, do whatever you want, blah, blah, blah. In the days following, Keith decided that he was certainly going to be arrested, and after 2 suicide attempts, turned himself in hoping it would result in kind of getting rid of his sentencing. You know, I came to you, don't give me a harsh sentence, you know, kind of thing is what he was really hoping for. But, you know, he didn't think he was going to get charged with the other girls. So he was like, I'll come in if, you know, you don't give me that crazy of a sentence. And they're like, yeah, sure, come in. We're not lying. And they totally lied to him. While in custody, Keith began revealing details of his killings and making claims of many other women that he killed, most of which he later recanted. It was like, oh, actually, I don't think I actually meant any of that. I didn't mean I killed any of those women that you've previously found in all these other areas. I don't think I did that, even though I already admitted to it, because he was an idiot. That's always hard, trying to do the under eye. So he's like, no, wasn't me. A few days before his arrest, he wrote a letter to his brother in which he confessed of having to kill 8 people over the course of 5 years. This led to police agencies in several different states reopening the Jane Doe cases and the sex worker cases that they just assumed were just, you know, drug overdoses, John's gone wrong, pimp's not getting the money. They're like, oh, these women were murdered. They're not just sex workers. Maybe we should open them up again. And they're like, oh, damn, this guy's actually crazy. So they found several cases across the country, many of which were found to be possible victims of Keith. Although Keith at one point claimed to have had as many as 185 victims, only 8 women killed in Washington, Oregon, California, and Florida, Nebraska, and Wyoming have been confirmed. He is serving 3 consecutive life sentences at the Oregon State Penitentiary in Salem. I can't speak today. In September 2009, Keith was moved to the Riverside Court in California, on murder charges in December of 2009. He was convicted of another murder and received a 4th life sentence in January 2010. So if you're from Canada, this is different than Canadian law. In Canada, you can only have one, you can get charged for multiple, you know, 4th degree murders and stuff like that, multiple of them, but you're only going to serve 1 life sentence, and then it goes to, you know, it's concurrent. So they just kind of like go, just one and done kind of thing. And you can get charged with multiple, but you're only going to serve one. You can't serve more, and then there's usually some parole shit kind of happen there. In the States, it's like 25 years plus another 25 years plus another 25 years. They're like, I've read one that was like, and you get sentenced to 148 years in prison. Like, that's great. A guy's going to die there, right? So, and this guy, and it's always sad when, like, maybe he did kill 185 people, but we can't prove it. So, he's just going to chill. I'm going to get some... I don't think I'm going to do any liner. I kind of like it without any liner. I'm just going to do white inside, put my lashes on, and live my best life. That's what I'm going to do. Early in the investigation of Bennett's murder, news reports surrounding her death and saw it as an opportunity to force an end of a long-term abusive relationship. So a lot of people, you know, were like, she just killed herself, stuff like that. With her, they thought it was her boyfriend. So he was picked up, set up meetings with investigators, gave a false confession, and was sentenced. This is always hard to do. Trying to put white in here. I'm just gonna do it myself. White underneath. It kind of makes my eyes, I don't know if it makes it look bigger, smaller, whatever it does. I just like doing it. It's just me. Okay. So they picked this dude up and they're like, he's the guy who did it. It's her boyfriend. He's the murderer. And everyone's like, yay, we solved the case. Until they found her body. It was rape, murder, dispose of. Bennett's body way the hell somewhere different. And then they were kind of like, oh, I'm messing up in him. So then that's one of the reasons why. On January 7th, 1996, more than 5 years after the conviction, is when they finally released her boyfriend and imprisoned and arrested Keith just because of all the other stuff they got from him. So that one's always tough. And they arrest somebody who didn't do it and they're like, yeah, it was him. And then when something else happens, they're like, that guy kind of had the same thing that the other dude had. Maybe he's the killer. When the investigation first started, Bennett and the guy got kind of like dinged for killing his ex-girlfriend. Killing Bennett. Keith was not impressed, as usually they are not if they're like, you know, doing it for clout. He was pissed. He was like, oh, they think this guy did it? What about me? Like, I'm the one over here killing people and I'm not getting any praise? Like, this is bull. So, following Bennett's murder, as all the attention was going to her significant other at the time, he was pissed. So Keith wrote a confession on the bathroom wall of a truck stop and signed it with a smiley face. When that didn't even create any type of like attention he desired, he wrote a letter to the media outlet and police department confessing to his murders, starting with a 6-page letter to the Oregon Police Department in which he revealed details of his killings. He signed each letter with a smiley face. And he sent it to Phil Stanford, the journalist working on the story of the Oregon paper, and they called him the happy face killer. So that happens a lot with serial killers where they're like, they got the wrong guy and I'm going to be all pissed off because I'm the one who should have the clout. They do it for clout. They do it for fame. You know, stuff like that. They get mad about it. So they're like, if somebody else gets picked up, it's also maybe a good tactic of the police if they know they are dealing with a serial killer who's like in it for like fame, then they're like, let's bring in somebody else. So I'm gonna pop on my lashes and I will be back with my final thoughts about Keith, aka the happy face killer. I'm back with my final thoughts. Okay. First things first, he is still alive. He's like 66 or some shit. I was just reading online. Yeah, he's 66 years old, still in prison, living his best life there, which is great. They caught him. That's great. My final thoughts is, you know, there wasn't anything bad about this case where, like, you know, the cops are really on the wrong trail or anything like that. It was just like, they got him after he killed so many people, and mostly because he was like, oh, this guy, you think this guy did it? Let me tell you who did it. Like, tossing his hair, I'm the one who did it. Call me the happy face killer kind of thing. Then they got him, which was great. Super awesome. I really like hearing that when they do catch the guy. It's good, even though they had to put another guy away to jail. It's forced. It's all good. It happens, right? People make mistakes. However, I'm glad this guy died. Stop killing sex workers. They don't need to keep dying. Like, it's always them. And cops, just because they're a sex worker doesn't mean their life should not be justified. They deserve to live a happy life. They deserve, if they get murdered, to find their victim. I mean, to find the person who killed them. Just because they're a sex worker doesn't mean that they're any less of a human. I find that's a big problem in society, and I don't know how many times we got, like I said, the Highway of Tears, we got Robert Pickton, we got the Happy Face murderer, there's so many people down in the States who killed sex workers too, and no one cared. And it's always a sex worker. They deserve to have justice in their life. So, those are my final thoughts on the Happy Face murder. I think it was a good story. It was a good case. The guy was messed up. He killed 8 people, then he got caught, and now he's in jail, which is great. He did have a crappy upbringing, but I think that a lot of them do, and, you know, just make sure you don't raise a serial killer. That's all I can say. So don't beat your kid. Oh, I think my dog's coming to say hello. He's been a little rambunctious lately, eh? You want to say hello to the camera? Come here. Come here. Oh, he's being a big boy. You guys see him? What's his? That's my dog Vader. Oh, so I'm just going to finish this up now. So that was my dog Vader. He's a little rambunctious, excited. So those are my final thoughts. And again, thank you guys. I know I haven't been here in a while, but thank you guys so much for coming out and supporting me and watching my videos and getting excited for the next ones. I'm super excited for doing this, and I love coming in, doing a final look, and just talking to everyone and just getting to know everyone and starting a community, true crime, who doesn't love true crime and who doesn't like makeup. So thank you guys so much for coming out and watching my videos. It means the world to me, and I'm just so happy to be here again. So again, I'm going to be linking all those things in the bio, who does my earrings, all that stuff down below. So go check them out. She opened up a new store. That'd be great. Also, I'll be putting my socials here. Make sure you guys like and subscribe and share this video. And I will see you guys on Thursday. Bye!